I'll be playing the Minecraft Jujutsu Kaisen mod as Satoru Gojo. Minecraft and JJK are two of my favorite things, so this should definitely be fun. Make sure to stick around until the very end because you won't believe what happens next. This video does contain minor manga spoilers, so please be wary. Grab a snack, relax, and enjoy the video. Spawning in, the first thing given to you as a Jujutsu student is the student uniform. Prompted with a lot of choices, I decide between Gojo or Sukuna. When you choose Gojo, you're given his uniform, which I end up losing by the way, his technique, and a bunch of buffs like strength, speed, resistance, and health boost. As soon as I become Gojo, I end up killing an enemy which declares me as a Jujutsu sorcerer, starting at grade 4. This cursed spirit near the graveyard looked extremely powerful. I'll be sure to come back and fight it later. In the achievement list, there's fames 1 through 4, which is how popular you are. Grades 1 through 4 and special grade, which is the strongest grade. Then there's also the skill tree of my techniques like blue, red, and purple. The achievements list also shows me the techniques of all the other sorcerers too. So far, my starter techniques consisted of this punch-like attack that had a range which was pretty strong. I was greeted by the finger bearer curse, which was insanely strong to the current level which I'm at, and I was not ready to fight it. I did some research on how the mod worked because I had no clue what I was doing. After some research, I figured out that I was given Gojo's blue technique, which for those of you that don't know, basically pulls in everything within a surrounding area. Here's a better visual example of blue from the anime. As you can see here, the sheep gets pulled in along with all of the surrounding blocks. I used it immediately in my next battle and found that it was really effective in close quarter battles. I could get this really overpowered technique called Infinity, which basically allowed me not to get touched, but I had to find this object called the Six Eyes first. In this mod, they're found in shrines across the world. Entering the building, I noticed that it was surprisingly calm and there weren't much curses. Exploring the abandoned facility wasn't dangerous at all, until I was greeted by Yuzo, who killed me instantly. I was getting spawn trapped by the finger bearer, which was extremely annoying, and they kept killing me again, and again. Until after a while, I was finally able to defeat the finger bearer, and I got Sukuna's finger. Shortly after that, I unlocked Simple Domain, which for now I'll describe as a defensive tool. Student Inumaki started attacking me, which confused me because he's my student. Inumaki has a technique called Cursed Speech, which allows him to literally make you do anything he says. I was trying to hit him, but he kept saying don't move, which literally makes me unable to move, so I wasn't able to do much for a long period of time. After respawning over and over again, I was eventually able to defeat Toge Inumaki, but after this bug-like cursed spirit sent me flying away while I was weak from my previous battle. In order for me to get stronger, I was gonna have to start killing weaker curses in the meantime. I tried using Curse Technique Blue against this huge cursed spirit I found earlier at the graveyard, but it didn't do much damage at all, so I decided to go out about my way because it seemed like I wasn't doing any damage at all. After farming more weak curses, I found this establishment with a huge cursed spirit. Using blue on him, I rushed into battle and made easy work of the cursed spirit. However, the cursed spirit at the top of the building made easy work out of me. It was nighttime now, and I found Sorcerer Mei wandering around, but I'm pretty sure I was still too weak to fight her, cause she's a grade 1 sorcerer. I was attacked by one of the cursed womb spirits and they ended up killing me really quick. The Jujutsu sorcerers were fighting the cursed spirit named Hanami, who is a special grade curse, the strongest type of curse. And of course he ended up killing me too. I tried to fight him a second time, but he defeats me again. Only difference is this time I gained reverse curse techniques because I ended up dying, and on the brink of death I found the true meaning of cursed energy. The new technique I gained is called Curse Technique Reversal Red. This technique, unlike blue which pushes things towards it, does the opposite and pushes things away. This is a visual example from the anime. So yeah, this technique is actually pretty strong. As you can see, I sent Panda flying away with just one attack. Now that I have both red and blue, I'm able to combine both of those and make Hollow Technique purple, which, to simplify, literally just deletes everything in its path. So yeah, this technique is pretty overpowered and is the strongest curse technique I have so far. Shortly after that, I advanced to Fame 1, which is the second to last level of Fame. The final level of Fame I had to advance to now was Special, which means I have to exercise a special grade Curse Spirit. After my resurrection and I gained the Reverse Curse technique, I'm arguably much stronger now. And my punches also do a lot more damage, so I literally 1 or 2 shot most enemies. I'm feeling much more confident now, so it's time to put my skills to the test against the Cursed Spirit at the graveyard, which I found earlier. Yeah, this did not go well at all. I realized that while now I was much stronger, I still had much work to do, so I headed out in search of other locations and shrines. While out, I found the Finger Bear from earlier. I tried to use Hollow Purple on it, but I missed completely. This gave him the chance to kill me, so I had to respawn all the way back at my spawn. It took me long enough, but I realized I could charge Hollow Purple in order to release a stronger version of the attack. While charging up the attack, you can see it says cool chance like it does in the anime. And once released, it literally destroys everything in its path. This cool shrine area had an enemy I encountered earlier, which I took out with purple. I was rushed by the Cursed Spirit Ghetto summons in Hidden Inventory called Rainbow Dragon, and it defeats me quite easily. The nighttime was pretty hectic. Me and Toto are fighting the Graveyard Curse I was trying to defeat earlier. Finally, after killing hundreds of curses, I obtained Domain Expansion, which is considered the pinnacle of Jujutsu fighting, and I'm Gojo, so my domain is insanely overpowered. The cursed Rainbow Dragon comes back to fight me again, and this worm Cursed Spirit comes out of the ground and Nanami tries to help me fight them. I saw a Cursed Spirit and decided to use my new Domain Expansion for the first time. The Domain Expansion Unlimited Void surrounds the target in a barrier and gets the target filled with constant information. They're experiencing everything all at once so quickly that they're unable to comprehend the information, so they become paralyzed, allowing me to kill Naoya and allowing me to attain the special fame grade. The only drawback of my domain is that it has a time limit. So after I kill Naoya, his second form summons his own domain. I try to use simple domain to counter, but he still ends up defeating me. I trapped the Principal and Ryo Ishigori in the domain expansion, but the problem is that he has a lot of health, so it takes me a while to kill him. However, once I do, I end up advancing to Grade 2 Sorcerer. This worm curse tries to surprise me, but most curses become easy now with my domain expansion. I say most because Ryomen Sukuna is arguably the strongest sorcerer of all time. I try using my domain, but he ends up countering with his own. And when I respawn, the entire prison is gone. That just goes to show how strong Ryomen Sukuna is. Checking on my progress, and I realize I'm close to becoming a special grade sorcerer now. I go back to get my revenge on the Rainbow Dragon, and I easily defeat him compared to last time. Having the ability to freeze your opponents and literally hit them endlessly is really overpowered. This McDonald's-like area had a lot of weak curses that I make easy work of. Then all of a sudden I get struck by this huge meteor. I have no clue who summoned the meteor, but I'm not ready to fight them yet. I end up killing the Finger Bearer one more time, but he doesn't drop another Sukuna finger. Although killing him made me a semi-grade 1 sorcerer. In the distance I see special grade Cursed Spirit Jogo next to Panda. I try to fight him and use my domain expansion, but he uses his own to counter mine, putting me in a volcano, and Megami is no help at all. The only good thing that came out of this fight was me getting Reverse Curse Technique level 2. He just used his domain expansion, so he can't use it again, giving me a chance to fight him fairly. Wait, he just disappeared. Is that a whole meteor? So yeah, that was him that killed me earlier at the McDonald's-like area. On the bright side, he's used up most of his cursed energy, which makes it easy to kill him with my domain now. Esso decides to fight me, and then Choso himself decides to come help his brother. I use my domain expansion and easily defeat Choso. after I defeat both of the cursed one spirits, I find this really annoying cursed spirit that literally summons lightning at every spot you stand on. So he was annoying, but I take him out with Hollow Purple. I found another prison and encountered Ryu, but I ran away because I don't have time to deal with him right now. Nah, I'm just kidding, I defeated him too. I used my domain expansion on Megami Fushiguro. And I'm not gonna lie, after I defeated him, the achievement is kinda funny. If you're a manga reader, you know. Both Maki and Naobito Zenin both got trapped in my domain. I just defeated 3 Zenin clan members in a row. Strength wise, I was looking pretty good, but I still had a long way to go if I wanted to be the strongest character in Jujutsu Kaisen. After I defeat them, I then end up trapping character Suguru Getsu in my domain expansion. For those of you that don't know, Getsu was once my best friend, but he went down the wrong path. So then him and Gojo were no longer friends. I thought defeating Maki was gonna be easy as well, but her Culling Games version has no cursed energy at all. So she easily defeats him. I defeat Panda for the first time in the playthrough and end up getting the achievement for it. Scrolling through my achievements, I could see that there was still a ton of enemies I have not defeated yet. I used Hollow Purple in order to defeat Eso, which probably made Choso mad since it's his brother. A while after this, I defeated Yuji Itadori, and that concludes the adventure I had after I found my new powers. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to subscribe for more content like this in the future. I found special grade Cursed Spirit Hanami and used my domain, but he's strong enough to counter with his own. After his domain runs out though, I'm able to use mine on him, and for some reason I don't get the achievement after I kill him. I defeat this bug-like cursed spirit that defeated me earlier, and he dropped this weird armor and his weird sword. I don't use the sword much later on because the sword does less damage than my fist. I found myself and was confused on whether or not I should attack, but I chose to do so. Turns out I don't do enough damage, so once he got out of his technique, he killed me instantly. I decided it was time to settle down and build a base. I like this little cave I found earlier under a mountain, so I used my technique blue in order to clear out the space inside. I knew I was gonna need wood, so I ended up getting that for the base. I saw Mei Mei in the distance and decided that I'm strong enough to do that. So let me go defeat her real quick. Mei Mei didn't stand a chance against my domain expansion, and I got the achievement for defeating her. After dealing with that, I moved my stuff inside, made more chests, and got to work on my base. The base was gonna consist of a pond, so I had to get water to get started on it. I got enough for an infinite water source so I could start working on the pond in the cave. So here's a look on how the cave turned out. I liked how it looked because it kept the cave aesthetic that I was going for. It's time to get obsidian for the nether portal, so I'm heading down to get lava. While down in the caves, I found Junichi Zenin, who I quickly executed in my domain expansion. Then that's when I ran into a big problem. The lightning god Kashima was down in the caves, and I recently used my domain expansion, so I tried running away from him. He proceeded to find me and use his lightning attacks. I tried making my way back to the caves, but found Hienera Sukuna. While I was debating on engaging him, he ended up attacking me first. And killed me with his domain expansion. I was already struggling to fight one Sukuna, but a whole other Sukuna pulled up in the middle of the fight. One Sukuna is bad enough, but 2 Sukunas is more than a problem. I trapped the Hienera version of Sukuna in my domain expansion, but he had so much health that I literally couldn't defeat him. I tried to do the same with the other Sukuna, but the problem is that these sorcerers have so much health that no matter how many times I trap them in my domain, I literally can't kill them. This crazy battle between sorcerers and curses has begun, and I used my domain in order to seal everyone inside, which allowed me to kill Hanami and finally get the achievement for it. I went to mine obsidian only to realize I forgot my diamond pickaxe. I used the Sukuna finger in order to respawn quicker. Then I went mining for diamonds, made my diamond pickaxe, and got enough obsidian for the nether portal. I accidentally used blue in my base, so I had to repair it. I got to work on the nether portal and made my way towards the nether dimension. My number one goal in the nether dimension was to find the fortress for blaze rods. I was instantly greeted by the finger bearer and other curses when I first arrived. There's so many curses here, I have no choice but to run away. They still chased me into the lava and I ended up dying. Exploring the nether isn't gonna be easy because I keep dying. While I was walking past the Soul Sand Valley, Naoya was attacked by Getzo and an insane battle took place. I saw that because I was Gojo, I could walk in lava, so I traversed the nether easier that way, because mobs don't spawn in lava. When I arrived to the other side, I was greeted by Hajime Kashimo, and I instantly used my domain expansion. Since Kashimo doesn't have a domain, I'm easily able to defeat him. I also defeat Kamo, who was also in my domain. Wait, did my domain just get me stuck in the roof of the nether? If I didn't have the Sukuna finger, I would have been stuck up here. I used my domain to kill Juzo, who killed me earlier, and Megami, while I make my way up the nether fortress. The fortress didn't take too long to find, and luckily the blaze spawners were by the entrance. I farm blazes until I have enough blaze rods for the Eyes of Ender. As soon as I get back to the overworld, there's a huge sorcerer battle in front of my base. So I pop my domain and defeat all of the opponents inside. After this, I found that my favorite character, Aotoro, was there and I used my domain expansion on him, but suddenly my chat gets filled with nonsense. And I'm not sure what's going on here, but I know this is not the Boogie Wig technique. Kodo remained still for a while and I defeat him, making me a special grade sorcerer, the strongest grade. He drops his pendant and I decide I want to wear it, and it reminds me of the friends I made along the way. Looking through my skill tree, I see that I've advanced a lot and have defeated most enemies in this mod. I see the first achievement I have to get was called collect 64 soul sand in order for me to get the black flash technique. So I head back to the nether and get enough soul sand to get the achievement. I realize I haven't beaten Nanami yet, so I trap him in my domain and get the achievement for defeating him. I hope he enjoys his trip to Malaysia. For those of you that watch the anime, you know what I'm talking about. I was surrounded by 1000 curses and I activated my domain for 0.2 of a second. Then I looted the area and it had healing potions and golden apples, even though I wasn't going to need them. I was resting at my base and I heard loud noises outside, just to find that there's a meteor landing near my base. I headed out to fight Jogo for myself, but he trapped me in his domain expansion, so things weren't looking good. After I defeated him, his head falls off, which is similar to the manga. I checked my map for a village nearby because I was gonna need it to trade for ender pearls. So I headed out in search of a village. I finally arrived to the village and it's time to start trading. It became nighttime, so I had to protect the villagers from curses. The first one that showed up was Esso with his blood technique. Purple was able to deal with most curses, but some were more stubborn than others. I thought I finished protecting the village, but I was attacked by Maito, the curse of fear and hatred. I used Hollow Purple to send him flying and sent him away. He came back and we started our battle again. I was able to defeat the special grade curse, Maito. I tried to quickly go off to bed, but the curses followed me inside the house of the village and blew up the villager's house. The main way to make emeralds was off the Mason villager, so I traded him clay for a ton of emeralds. The Rainbow Dragon Cursed Spirit came back from earlier to fight me. I trapped him in my domain expansion but missed. In the distance I see Sukuna and debate if I'm ready to fight him or not. I decide I am, so I went ahead and began the battle. It went terribly and he defeated me with his domain again. I came back to the village and I found that the whole village was destroyed by Sukuna. Literally everything was gone. I attempted to get revenge for my fallen villagers, but it did not go as planned. I used purple to send him flying. I thought I finally won by trapping him in my domain, but it ends with him completing the ritual for the 10 Shikigami, and this was his plan all along. And with his sacred treasure he summons 8-handled sword divergent Scylla Divine General Maharaja. So yeah, that did not go well at all. After my loss to Sukuna, I started to question if I was really the strongest. The next goal was to find another village because the previous one got destroyed. It took me a while, but eventually I maxed out the cleric villager and got enough ender pearls. On my way back, I killed Juzo for the final time and I found a battle between Megami and the special grade cursed spirit of the sea, Dagon. He puts me in his domain expansion and it's a beach area. I use Hollow Purple and manage to defeat him. I sort my chest one last time, craft my Eyes of Enders, and head out in search of the end dimension. Finding the stronghold is always annoying, no matter if it's modded or not. I found Dagon again, but decided I wasn't going to fight him. After around 10 to 20 minutes, I found the stronghold. I take care of the silverfish, put the eyes in the slots, and it was time to head to the end dimension. When I first arrived, I noticed there was abundance of curses in the end. A curse tried to fight me as soon as I arrived, but I pushed him off. I used purple from a distance in order to destroy the ender crystals. The ender dragon kept flying around, so I was struggling to hit it. Sukuna was out here as well. It seems as if all the strongest curses were here in the end dimension. Out of nowhere, I was attacked by my own attack purple, and it one-shots me. I don't know if I'm gonna make it back to the end because I'm low on Ice Vendor. Wait, I realize I can teleport with the checkpoints I have on my map, and no, this isn't cheating because Gojo himself teleports. As soon as I get back to the end, I attack the ender dragon with a few more hollow purple, and I find that I do more damage to the ender dragon with my physical strength. I encounter Sorcerer Killer Toji and attempt to kill him with hollow purple, but it simply does not go to plan, and my domain doesn't work since Sorcerer Toji has no energy. I go to the end, but my chat glitches again. In the comments, let me know if this technique is a bug or if it's actually how Boogie Woogie works in this mod. I find the high school version of myself with Hajime Kashimo, and after a long time of hitting myself, I survive on half a heart just to get spawn trapped by Sukuna after I leave the domain. I trapped Sukuna in my domain, and after a while, I finally managed to defeat Sukuna. But for some reason, I did not get the achievement. I try using purple on the ender dragon, but it does no damage. So I put the dragon in my domain instead. And to my surprise, he literally breaks out. Turns out the ender dragon is the strongest sorcerer of all time. I got a few more hits on the dragon, but I started to question if I was actually gonna beat him. That's when I find Curse User Getsu, my old best friend who turned evil, and I defeat him. And that's when I remember what he told me. Are you the strongest because you're Satoru Gojo? Or are you Satoru Gojo because you're the strongest? So after sending out a few more charged purples, I used blue to push myself within close range of the ender dragon, and after a few hits, I finally managed to defeat him. But before I go, he and Sukuna was staring at me menacingly. If this does well, I'll come back to fight him either with Gojo or another character, so stay tuned for that. I hop into a portal and make my way towards the overworld. If you made it all the way towards the end, I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to subscribe for more content like this. I hung up my pendant of the friends I made along the way, and my journey to become the strongest was over.